Can I see the hands of everybody who have ever tried to achieve a better work-life balance? Oh. Let's be very honest now. Who is still longing to find it? Well, I have some good news for you, because today I'm going to help you crack the code. Let's start with a little spoiler. Work-life balance. It's a made-up concept. It doesn't truly exist. However, the fact that we long for a balance between work and life indicates that there's something wrong in the first place. In order to restore balance in all levels, we need to change our perception of work and how we organize it. I know this because I did it. The story starts in an office in Amsterdam, and I had it all. Good salary, fun colleagues, happy clients, many opportunities to grow. But if I had it all, why did I feel more unhappy each day? Eventually, I would come home from work completely burned out. And it just didn't make any sense. I loved what I was doing, was good at it too, was invited to all the cool parties, and I was living in a beautiful house. I was just living the dream. How did this become my worst nightmare? When I got offered a permanent contract, I expected to feel happy and proud. But I didn't. My whole body said no. So I took a U-turn, and I left on a 6-month journey through South America. And the difference couldn't have been any bigger. Coming from a culture where we live on the clock, working 9 to 5, 5 days a week, we eat at 6 p.m. And when the bus is 5 minutes late, I see people huffing and puffing with frustration because we tend to believe that time equals money. To South America, where time didn't seem to exist at all. The first Spanish word that I learned was tranquilo. And a happy mañana, mañana was the answer to every problem that I brought. I remember this one time I had to take a public bus from the Bolivian part of the Amazon. And I was well on time because I didn't want to miss my bus or my connecting flight. I was on time, but the bus, it didn't leave. And after 2 hours, I still didn't know what this holdup was. Until I saw a little man from the village standing next to a huge pile of bananas. And this guy, he was taking his whole harvest with him to the city. And it took him quite some time to chop them up and carefully place them in the trunk of the bus. I was used to people being stressed all the time and rushing, so I was very surprised that here nobody seemed to care about this delay. And I noticed that they would look way more relaxed, just smiling their way through life. And although I missed my flight, I decided to do the same. And I remember waiting with the sun on my face, slowly starting to realize why I was so unhappy in my job. Our Western working culture is based on a tight schedule, and so was my life. Officially, I was part of the creative team. In reality, I was just another human resource for project managers that planned my creativity. Come up with a debrief Monday at 9. Write a new campaign at 3. Let me tell you, there is nothing more draining than people taking ownership of your time, trying to schedule your natural flow of energy. Yet this lies at the core of our Western working culture, because we want to plan, structure and schedule everything under this false impression that we can control success. South America changed everything around for me. I learned to listen to my heart instead of only my head. I followed where my energy led me, without any schedule dictate my day. And this brought me many insights. But most importantly, I found my creative life force energy back. And after 6 months, it was time to return back home. And to honor all the lessons that I learned, I made a choice to start living by my own 2 made-up rules. Rule number 1. I am now the manager of my time. No boss or project manager gets the ownership of the most valuable thing that I have to spend. And rule number 2, I will devote my energy to whatever gives me more energy back. Little did I know that this choice would change everything for me around again, but not immediately. When I came back home, I started working as a freelancer, which gave me the opportunity to start working when, for who, and how much that I wanted. And it sounded great. But for a long time, I didn't use this freedom at all. I just stuck to the good old 9-to-5 routine, T-Rex typing, like a programmed robot, stressing about my unfinished tasks and pushing them to the next day, and the next, and the next, and the next. I was working a lot. And I realized now not my project manager, but my clients became the owners of my time. And it dawned on me that entrepreneurs are truly the only crazy people that quit their 40-hour work week, start working 80, and they call it freedom. Although I really wanted to start working differently, I just didn't know how. What I did know, I couldn't overcome my toxic habits and my limiting beliefs in the same environment that created them. So again, I packed my bags and I left. I started this trip while living, driving, and remote working through Australia with a Toyota Land Cruiser, and I slept in a rooftop tent. I was surrounded by the most beautiful nature, and every morning around 5 a.m., I would be waked by this beautiful, romantic sound of nature. This is the sound of kookaburras, birds that sound like loud, laughing monkeys. And they came with an important wake-up call. Needless to say, it was impossible to sleep through these loud belly laughs. So I thought, might as well start the day. But you must know, I was never a morning person. I would wake up tired after 10 hours of sleep, skip breakfast, snooze my way through the morning, and then when I got stuck in traffic, I had a feeling that I was already 10 steps behind before I even started. Here in Australia, I didn't stress about what would come or what has been. There was only now. And being awaked by nature was a magical feeling that unlocked instant focus. And I noticed, while most people were still asleep, I would get more stuff done in a few morning hours than I would normally in a whole day. I learned how to crush and create time by just one simple adjustment. And this personal experience got underlined when I found out that actually 80% of all people naturally is most productive and creative in the early mornings. So I tried something radical. Between 5 and 11 a.m., I would fully focus on my projects. And between 11 and 8 p.m., I would fully focus on enjoying life. I chose Bali as a scene for this experiment, and I committed 5 weeks straight. Curious to see what this would do for me. The experiment was simple, but not easy. I expected the early mornings to be a challenge. But actually, being able to relax was the hardest part. I was laying anxious on the beach, thinking about work. I felt guilty. I felt insecure. I felt useless. Who am I to enjoy all this free time when there's so much stuff to do? I need to work hard and grind to be successful. What if my clients and my colleagues need me when I'm not available? Will they leave for somebody else? It was only after 3 weeks that I stopped worrying and I could finally surrender to my new routine. And this was the first step of finding freedom in my work. And actually, this newfound freedom opened up many unexpected doors. Door number 1, it opened efficiency. Because of the scarcity of hours, I could create more in less time. Door number 2, it opened up inspiration. Because I dedicated so much of my day to relaxing and fun, I had a chance to recharge my energy. And in those moments, my creativity started to flow. The ideas and the solutions for my clients came in the downtime moments of the day, and I even got the golden idea for my next new business in one of those magic moments. Door number 3, it opened up happiness. My happiness and energy level increased because I was just loving what I was doing and how I was doing it. And to my big surprise, when the final door opened, I found a higher revenue and more profit. Because of my boundless creativity and my increased energy level, I could create a better output in less time. And guess what? People don't mind paying more if you give them quality. If you bring value to the table, you will be rewarded. And this counts if you're a business owner, but also if you're working for a company. When you take ownership of what you create, you will be rewarded. Bottom line, this experiment resulted in an upward spiral of time, energy, output, and freedom. I found out that success, revenue, and profit should never be the goal or the focus in our KPIs. A high profit is simply the inescapable result of how you and your team, if you will, organize time and energy. And when I realized the depth of this statement, it shook heaven and earth, because my perception of work changed forever. And I made a shift from hard work to hard work. And boom, all of a sudden it was just there. I created the life that I didn't need to take a vacation from. I never worked a day in my life again. I just simply gave my energy to whatever gave me more energy back. All the discoveries from the past 10 years, I translated into a vision that embraces a holistic approach where work and life, mind, heart, and soul, time and energy, you and your team, they are no separate things, but they hopefully come together in every project. And I call this vision holy work. It's not something limited to a 9-to-5 schedule. It's not something that you do at work until you can retire. This is a lifestyle that ignites joy and fulfillment, and it creates valuable output. It's the reason to jump out of bed. It's the reason that I'm standing here in front of you today. I can already hear the voice in the back of your mind going, good for you. But how am I going to do this? I have a mortgage to pay. I cannot just change my life around. Or this lifestyle is easy for you because you don't have any kids. Or you don't have a demanding boss. Or you don't have a team to manage. I get it. I really do. Believe me, I heard every reason that there is why it's way harder for you to prioritize your time and energy than it once was for me. It isn't. I am no superwoman, and yet I manage 3 businesses. I'm writing a book. I'm leading a team. And 5 days a week, I take care of our son of 5 months old. Why? Because I want to, and I can, because I have the time, I have the energy, and I have the freedom to do so. This is my choice. I promised that I would help you crack the code of finding balance, right? So here we are. What can you do? I have 3 simple, but not easy steps that will help you find freedom in your work. Step 1, identify what gives you energy. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel joyful? If money or education wasn't an issue, how would your perfect day look? What would you do? Step number 2, start aligning your time with whatever gives you energy. Can't say it enough, so important. Remember that I said that I could crush and create time? This is how. Forget time equals money. I don't want to spend my time to something that only gives me money. That's a waste of time. I want to spend my time to whatever gives me energy. This is the formula that I live by. Time plus positive spent energy equals valuable output, and that equals money. Here is your upward spiral. And this is where you can make the shift from hard working to heartfelt holy work. And then the final step, step number 3. Take on a challenge or an experiment to get you moving from where you are now to where you want to be. And this can be very simple. Start with each day, just 1 hour, spending on what you truly love. Or wake up 2 hours earlier than you would normally do and commit to this, let's say 5 weeks straight, and see what this would do for you. And this is it. I know that we all have challenges, but we also all have the power to spend our time and energy on what truly matters for us and on an individual level. This is a game changer, but what I'm curious about is if we all would do this, and if we all spend our time and energy on that, what truly matters for us, what unexpected doors will open for us as a society. Thank you.